Did the Broncos make the most of the draft? This is your Denver Sports Daily for April 28th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
The 2025 NFL Draft wrapped up on Saturday, and the Broncos made a splash from start to finish. Just to recap all the picks, with their first-round pick, they were widely expected to take a running back, but instead, they took Jahdae Barron, the Texas corner. Now, Barron's a stud, don't get it wrong, but passing up on someone like Omarion Hampton and letting him follow the Chargers, that really stings. Now, however, there's no point in looking at what things could have been when it's more fun to look forward at how incredible this defense is going to be next season. They're clearly making a no-fly zone 2.0. I mean, you look at this team right now, the defensive side of this team, it is stacked. And Jahdae Barron is just another little addition that the Broncos have made this offseason. I mean, you're talking about they got Hufanga, they got Greenlaw. They made some great moves, including this pick in the offseason that's going to bolster their defense and take it from what was great last season to what's going to be incredible this next season. Now, with their second-round pick, they took running back R.J. Harvey, who's coming out of UCF, and that was in the second round. Now, Harvey's a solid pass catcher out of the backfield and runs very patiently. He could be the exact type of joker that Sean Payton was looking for. It's not a bad pick at all, and at least they got a running back in a very deep running back class, and they didn't wait until the third or fourth round. They got him in the second, and he's going to be a stud. Now, the Broncos had two picks in the third round. And with the 74th, they took a wide receiver, Pat Bryant, from Illinois. Now, Bryant could be solid. Now, he's ranked second in the Big Ten in 2024 in yards per catch. He had 18.3 yards per catch. Bryant's going to be good. He might not be that wide receiver one that a lot of the Broncos may have been looking at. You know, they kind of passed on a few great options in free agency. But Bryant could come in and kind of relieve some of the stress from people like Devon Vele and Troy Franklin, because they're not going to be getting the ball as much if Pat Bryant really could be the guy who fills in that wide receiver 3 spot or the slot. You know, wherever they end up putting him, he will go out and make some big plays. Now, later in the third round, they took Savion Jones with the 101st pick, the defensive end out of LSU. Now, with Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, and Malcolm Jones hitting free agency next season, Savion Jones could be looked at as a replacement for one of them. And then in the fourth round, the Broncos took edge rusher Quay Robinson out of Alabama. Now, Robinson will likely be used mostly on special teams, but I will never, ever be upset with drafting a rusher out of Bama. And they got him pretty late. I mean, the fourth round, you're getting a pass rusher or an edge rusher out of Alabama. I will take that every single day of the week. Now, in the sixth round, they took a punter in Jeremy Crawshaw. Crawshaw is coming to the NFL after playing for Florida, and I'll likely go into a little position battle with Matt Hack for the starting position punter. It's always fun to see a position battle for punters. I mean, it's always a little bit of a goofy time to see, and taking one in the sixth round, again, maybe not the best pick or what they necessarily needed, but still, you know, you got to get pieces where you need them. Now, with their last pick in the draft, the Broncos picked up tight end Caleb Lohner out of Utah, and this one was surprising to me. I would be lying if I said it didn't shock me at all. Lohner only played 57 snaps of college football, and if you really break that down a little bit, that's half of what Travis Hunter played in one game. A little bit less than half. Or no, it's exactly half. Travis Hunter played 114 snaps in one game, and Caleb Lohner played 57 snaps of college football. But hey, his averages do not lie. He only caught 4 passes. He caught 4 passes for 54 yards, and guess what? 4 touchdowns. He's 4 for 4. I mean, hey, the stats don't lie. If you're catching 100%, every single pass you're catching, you're going for a touchdown and over 10 plus yards. I'm a fan for it. 11 yards per catch and 4 touchdowns on 4 receptions. I don't hate that. Now, if I did have to give the Broncos a grade on this draft, I'd give them a B. And some people might be saying, hey, that's a bit low. You know, they did great. They got great players all around the board. They got some of the most needed positions, yes, but I'm a little thrown off on the timing of it. They could have maneuvered better and taken better players with different picks. It was overall great. I'm not, saying anything was bad here. The Jahdae Barron pick did surprise me, but it's still a good position, or not a good position, a good player. And it is a good position. You needed a cornerback. They got the best cornerback in the draft. They took Barron, even though he was expected to be gone in the top 10. I will never hate that. I am still thrown off, though, that they let Omarion Hampton slide down to an interdivision rival, the Chargers. It just, and that's just, nitpicking. That's why it's still a B. That's a passing grade. That's a good grade. They're going to go out there next season, and their defense is going to be stacked. Just wait to see what this defense does next season because it's going to be incredible. Now, moving on, Shedeur Sanders was finally picked after sliding all the way to day 3. Sanders was finally selected after his unprecedented fall to pick 144 in the 5th round, where he was then picked up by the Cleveland Browns. Now, this whole storyline shocked me. From start to finish, this whole thing, there were so many different pieces about the Shedeur Sanders draft stock fall that was just headline news. Now, Sanders was projected as a top 10 pick earlier in the offseason, but somehow every single team passed on him multiple times. But to be fair, to play a little devil's advocate here, it seems like he may have come into interviews with a sense of unpreparedness. And that's what teams have been saying. He didn't really seem prepared when he was going to the interviews. He didn't like the questions, that kind of stuff. And that's going to drop your draft stock. But dropping it that far for a guy who's incredible, led the Big 12 in so many different stats and was doing amazing things at CU, broke every record imaginable, and he's falling to the 5th round. It's weird. Now, to make the situation even crazier, the Browns picked up Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback out of Oregon, in the 4th round, right before him. Now, it's incredible. And honestly, all this should do is give Sanders a chip on his shoulder when he enters the league. Now, I've stood firm on the belief that he's the best quarterback in the draft. I believe that. I still do. I think he's better than Cam Ward. He is. And that's just, I'll wait for it to be disproven, but I'm going to stand on that he is the best quarterback in this draft. And honestly, the good part about it is that he has less expectations to play up to. That's a recipe for a great career. You're already incredible, and now you're being drafted late. That's only going to lead to success. Now, also, if I do want to sidebar for a second, more on this Shedeur Sanders stuff, the whole situation with the prank call, that's insane. Now, it was found that the kid who pranked Shedeur Sanders by pretending to be the Saints GM was actually the son of Falcons defensive coordinator. Wow. I mean, Shedeur Sanders bought his own different phone and gave the number to only GMs of every football team in the league. And he was prank called on that phone by somebody pretending to be the Saints GM and acting like they were going to draft him with their next pick. And they did. And they found first of all, how rude, terrible. And I know it happens every year. People are trying to use it to say, it's funny. It's just a joke. That's not funny. That's not funny at all. And now to bring it back that it was the Falcons defensive coordinator's son. That son, if that was my son, oh boy. Talk about you're not getting your college paid for or anything. You almost lost me my job. That's incredible. But yeah, finally, Shedeur Sanders was picked by the Browns, and he's going to be going out there next season, going into a big position battle. They've got 5 QBs on that team. If he ends up being the starting QB, I would not be shocked. If he loses the starting QB to Kenny Pickett, I would be incredibly shocked. There's going to be a lot of fun things to watch in this next season. Now, moving on, the Nuggets got a much-needed win in the craziest way possible. The Nugs were heading into Saturday's game down 2-1 after a 34-point blowout that they suffered in Game 3, and they came back swinging, beating the LA Clippers in LA 101-99. Now, they didn't just beat the Clippers. They beat them on a game-winning buzzer beater dunk from Aaron Gordon. The only time a buzzer beater dunk has ever happened in NBA history. It's insane. In the playoffs, that is. Now, while this may seem like good news, overall, you hear it, it sounds like good news. It's not. It's actually quite upsetting. The Nuggets held as much as a 22-point lead early in the 4th quarter, yet the game still came down to the last shot. Now, to get this, Nikola Jokic recorded 36 points, 21 rebounds, and 8 assists. And that's just becoming more and more evident that the squad around him is not built for a championship run. You're putting up an incredible stat line like that, almost a 40-point triple-double with 20 rebounds. And sure, I'm kind of flexing the stats there, but it's close enough to flex it. You can't be winning games on a buzzer beater. Now, if the Nugs, if they have to win off of a buzzer beater when they're up by 22 in the final quarter, there's clearly an issue. Now, luckily, they will be back in Denver tomorrow for Game 5 of what's now a tied-up series at 2-2. They need to get a win. Game 5 is the most important game of any series. Don't care how you look at it. You're down 3-1. You win Game 5. You're back 3-2. That's a close series. 2-2, now you get the lead. 3-2. You need to win Game 5. And the Denver Nuggets, if they lose tomorrow, they will be in deep, deep trouble. Now, moving on, the Avalanche evened up their series as well at 2-2 after a dominating win on Saturday. Gabe Landeskog is back, guys. He got back on the board with a goal and an assist in the 4-0 blowout win against the Stars in Game 4. It was just incredible to see that. I mean, the emotions around that stadium, the emotions in him, Gabriel Landeskog, scoring a goal and an assist when they most needed it. The Avalanche most needed it right then. That's the kind of thing that rallies your team, not just for a game, not just for a series, but for a playoff run. This is the kind of stuff that you see, and it's just the mentality flips. He is back here. He is back on the ice. He's back providing the same kind of help that he was before that injury that he suffered. Now, like the Nuggets, this was a must-win game, but fortunately, the Avs actually know how to keep a lead, unlike the Nuggets. Now, Colorado went up 2-0 in the first period, thanks to some goals from Logan O'Connor, who's been playing incredibly this series, and Nathan Mackinnon, who, of course, is Nathan MacKinnon. Then in the second period, Gabriel Landeskog scored his first goal since the 2022 Stanley Cup run. Now, Landeskog then followed up that goal with an assist to Sam Girard midway through the third period to push the lead to 4-0. Now, that's the exact type of win you need. This is how you regain confidence after a loss like the Avs suffered in Game 3 and Game 2. Overtime losses are always bad, but losing them in the playoffs just stings so much more. So thankfully, they got back on the board with a W. The Avs are back in action tonight, actually, as they travel to Dallas as they take on the Stars in Game 5 of the first round. Again, Game 5 must win. This series is tied up 2-2. I would be going out there. I'm not saying anything, but I've got a lot of confidence in this Avalanche team right now. I think that they can go out and win the next 2 games. Win on the road against the Stars, bring it back to Colorado, win again. I got a lot of faith. I really think that they can do it. But that's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow. Recapping hopefully an Avalanche win, talking about more about this draft. How are these players going to fit into this team? Because honestly, this Broncos defense might be the best defense in the league after the additions that they've made this offseason. But I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.